Turtle Gang, hit that like button as you come in. It's your boy Dolly. Turtles, hit that like button, guys. It's your boy Dolly. I want to see them likes go up. Woo-hoo. Thumb it up. What is up? What is up, my beautiful people? It is good to see you tonight. Of course, it's Dolly back in the house again. We're going to be doing Queen. Welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Bryan Kohberger case. Anybody remember that psycho? Idaho 4 goes in the house in the middle of the night, brutally stabs 4 people to death. You know, and he has them damn Ted Bundy eyes. Okay, well, you know me. I was one of those people that said, hey, this ain't one of the kids. Right from the very start. Right from the jump, Dolly was like, look, this ain't something some of these college kids did. This is something, the work of a serial killer, right? And then, of course, the information came out. Bryan Kohberger was arrested. His DNA was on the sheath of the knife. Okay, pretty damaging evidence they have against him. His phone pinging, him being out just happened to be taking a late night drive. No alibi to the murders. To me, it's pretty much he's done. Okay, Bryan Kohberger absolutely done. In my eyes, I know there's a lot of people out there screaming that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. Okay, still to this day, people are saying, hey, Dolly, this man is innocent. But no, the man is not innocent. And not only is he not innocent, but there's some people out there still blaming some of the kids. Still blaming the frat brothers and saying that the frat people killed them and that the neighbors don't know and Bryan Kohberger possibly ain't guilty type stuff, right? Well, not even that Bryan Kohberger ain't guilty, but still blaming the kids. And look, now I spoke highly about this person because when this stuff first started going on, I was watching this person's video and he was coming out with some good information on the case, updates. Well, now there's really no update on the case. The kids have lost their lives, RIP to Idaho 4. Now it's just crazy speculation that this YouTuber is putting out there. And I believe he has hit his head on a circus tent, okay? And that YouTuber I am talking about is Drip Drop, okay? Now, I like Drip Drop. I watched his, I haven't watched all his videos, but people started telling me, hey, man, this dude puts out the craziest shit, runs with the craziest stuff. And I was like, well, I watched some of his videos during the Idaho 4, and they were like this kind of like update videos, what the house looked like, layouts. I thought it was good information. But I go back and I watch the video he did today on Bryan Kohberger, and I'm like, what? Well, he did it a couple days ago. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Okay? I mean, it's complete speculation, complete blaming the kids. Just like, we're going to do a little review tonight. I don't usually watch other people's videos, but tonight we're going to watch Drip Drop and what Drip Drop says. I'm going to break down some of this stuff because some of it is just pure T stupid. Boom. Okay? He does a lot of booms. Be prepared for the boom, right? Like, he brings you this information really that's not shit, or just some shit that he came up with in his head, and he's like, boom. Okay, so let's do a little Drip Drop tonight. It's Halloween. Halloween just passed. We probably should have did this last night. This would have been a good video to review last night because, the man is dressed up like damn Chucky. Okay, he's dressed up like Chucky. Let's get this video popping.
We're going to be taking a peek into Sigma Chi and fraternity life. Now, without further ado, let's see what I have to say for myself this time.
Okay, let's get through his intro.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name's Chucky, and I'll be your host this evening on this Halloween special. I'm filling in for Drip Drop once again. You probably thought there was only one Halloween.
Okay, so maybe Drip Drop ain't the one putting out the wild speculation. Maybe we should be blaming Chucky. Okay, this whole time I thought it was Drip Drop saying all this crazy shit. And little did I know, it was Chucky.
Halloween special. At Crime Circus and the Crime Circus cult, you get rewarded with bonus episodes. And this one is my most important episode yet. So don't skip through and don't miss a single second of anything I have to say because this is an important episode.
It's all speculation. It's all crazy speculation too. Like, I was just like, whoa.
Anyways, let's start by discussing the U-Haul very briefly. I'm so thankful and I'm so proud to have such a high IQ audience that really left some intelligent comments on my last video. Thank you all so much. I do want to let you know that I have moved many times. I am well aware about U-Hauls being in different states with different plates. In fact, U-Hauls should typically always have an Arizona plate. I'm aware that the advertisements on the side of the U-Haul does not mean that that's where the U-Haul came from. I've been told that there's anywhere from 50 to 250 different designs on the...
Thank you for being a member for 4 months. We love you too. Thank you so much. That's awesome of you. So, right now he's going over the U-Haul, and the tags may not be the same as the side because, U-Hauls have different sides, but different pictures on it. So... anyway, he gets into a little more about the Bryan Kohberger and the kids, and who he thinks kills the kids. Well, it's just real, like, all I'm gonna say is it's just bullshit. It's like, it's a lot of, this is how misinformation gets spread so easily on the internet, especially when you have such a huge following like Drip Drop. And then, sometimes mistakenly you put it out, but it's just kind of crazy blaming these kids still at this point, is all I'm saying. Callers, hold on, don't call yet.
Side of the U-Haul trucks. What that means, I wasn't trying to tell you the U-Haul came from Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen. No.
Boom.
What I was trying to say is it must have been very difficult for Moscow PD to obtain a U-Haul truck specifically with the Pennsylvania graphic on the side of it. That was to send a message to Bryan Kohberger. Don't tell me...
Okay, let me pause this for a second. See, Drip Drop is this big conspiracy person, okay? He goes, I'm going to call him Drip Turtle, okay? Because he's kind of like Turtle Boy. He goes down these crazy rabbit holes of things, okay, that don't have nothing really, to me, to do with anything. So, when the police were loading things out of his house, the U-Haul had just coincidentally said Pennsylvania on the side. Brian's from Pennsylvania. He thinks that the police were sending messages subliminally to Bryan Kohberger, and he also believes that he was questioned before he was arrested for this stuff. Okay? Now, some of it's just crazy, coincidence. Look, this world is full of coincidences. Okay? This ain't like the police. If the police knew for a fact who it was the killer, he would have been arrested. They didn't know until that DNA came back. Okay, when that DNA came back, they were like, all right, this is it. Then they started trailing him. Then they started following him. Then they arrested him. But to be like, well, they were playing mind games with him this whole time. It's like, that's crazy. They wasn't doing that. Okay, they definitely wasn't doing that. It wasn't, the police ain't out there playing mind games with a suspected killer. Well, let's pull up with a U-Haul that says Pennsylvania. He's going to know we know. Right? And if that was the case, if he was a killer, and that was the case, wouldn't that make you flee? Oh, they know it's me. They got a Pennsylvania U-Haul. They know it's me. Let me get the hell out of there. Don't make no sense.
It's a coincidence. Some of you doubters out there think every single clue that I find is just another coincidence. If you add up all these coincidences, you've got a Goosebumps book. Yeah.
Okay, well, somebody had to come up with a Goosebumps book. That's because there's a ton of fucking coincidences in this world. It just is.
Yeah. Anyways, yes, if Moscow PD had just gone to Pennsylvania and got a U-Haul and driven back, that would have actually been easier than what I was trying to tell you in my last episode. Finding a U-Haul specifically with Pennsylvania on the side of it must have been no easy task. If you think it's a coincidence, I'm going to tell you the simple math on that. The odds of that randomly happening would be 5.37 octillion to 1. Yeah.
I disagree. I totally disagree. You can go to a U-Haul place right now. They'll be like, all right, here's your trick. It's just coincidence. Shit happens in this world like that. So the police had a Pennsylvania U-Haul. So they had to know. That is his concept. Like, yeah, it's mind games. They knew the whole time. How hard would it have been for them to go and find in Idaho, find a U-Haul that said Pennsylvania on the side of it? But the thing about U-Hauls is they travel all over the country. So you could rent a U-Haul here, okay? So I can rent it in Virginia, and I can drop it off in Idaho. So usually most U-Hauls are from all over the country and been left at different locations to be re-rented and moved around the country. Like most people that rent U-Hauls, a lot of them rent them and take them back to that place. But people that are traveling across country and stuff, they drop them off in whatever state they're in, So it's just a coincidence. So this is just like, he's saying the police knew, okay, but in the same breath, he's saying that the frat brothers allegedly killed the Idaho 4, have something to do with it. Then which one is it? You can't cover every base in a baseball game, okay? You can't cover first, second, and third. You just can't cover all the bases. You can't have it to where no matter what, you're right because you picked every option. Okay? One way or another, Drip Drop, you're going to be right because you've covered every base in the game. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying he did it, they did it, he did it, they did it. By the end of this, I thought I did it. Okay? I was like, did I do it? What? Nope, I wasn't in Idaho. Couldn't have been me. Okay?
This was an advanced psychological operation developed by the CIA and military of the United States. They wanted to play mind games with Bryan Kohberger's mind. On this exact same day, that's when they told us all to look for the wrong white Hyundai Elantra.
Let's get right to it. Take a look at these photos behind me right here. Moscow PD saying...
Well, I have to, one thing they did tell us a bunch of shit that was wrong in the beginning. They gave us a very vague description of the car. They had a suspect. They knew what he looked like. They knew his... here's the thing. Drip Drop don't take in consideration Dylan was an eyewitness, seen the man, seen his body build, seen his bushy-ass eyebrows, and... what's the chances of somebody else having Ted Bundy eyes in Idaho? Okay, I guarantee you can go through all of Idaho. He's going to be the only person that got them damn Ted Bundy eyes because he's the person that did it. Okay? But I just can't, get down with blaming all these kids in college that some kid, it didn't even fit like a profile of a young person. Most serial killers, I thought Bryan Kohberger was actually pretty young to commit these crimes. I actually thought it would be a little bit older person, but I was wrong there. And I still don't believe this is the first crime like this that Bryan Kohberger's committed. I do believe he's guilty as shit, okay? And the rest of this stuff is just like, that's when you start muddying the water a little bit. You start blaming this person, that person, this person. That's what Turtle Boy does, okay? That's exactly what Turtle Boy does in the Karen Reed case. It's muddying the water. That's what Benny Keys, that's what Cam and Allie did in the Summer Wells case. Okay, it's people just throwing shit in the water until you can't see what's in the water anymore. It's all murky, right? And there's a lot of people guilty of that.
Today, they're now looking for a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra.
So, either they were really looking for the wrong white Hyundai Elantra, or that was more psychological mind games. I think the U-Haul was to spook him, and the wrong white car was to really mess with his mind and send us all on wild goose chases.
I don't agree with none of that. I totally disagree with any of that. They knew it was a white car. They put out a vague description. Maybe that's what they had. I would be more concerned about why didn't they come out and say that they had a suspect, a white male, approximately 6 foot something, 185 pounds, bushy eyebrows. I think that's important in the college community because you still put the rest of the community was still at danger. No, who's to say Bryan Kohberger couldn't have did this again? And the police knew that it was a white male, 6 foot. I mean, that type of stuff, they could have made a sketch, and they didn't. There was never no sketch. They did lie to us in the beginning. They said that Bethany Dylan was asleep in the basement. Later on, we find out that ain't true. So, the police don't have to be 100% truthful with you because they don't want information to get out to this person. Even if they knew it was Bryan Kohberger that day, they probably wouldn't have came up there and said that until they caught Bryan Kohberger. Only in Georgia do they name a murder suspect before the arrest, okay? That don't usually happen anywhere else but Savannah, okay?
We all spent so much time traveling around on Google Maps, looking at people's houses and driveways on streets and so on and so forth.
I didn't do that,
etc. And no,
I didn't do that. Now, I did watch some of the interviews with the girl, where the girl said her car was broken into. A lot of the body cam from the police. I think the important stuff we watched. We skipped a lot of this bullshit. We did go into the neighbor a little bit because the neighbor was a little bit strange. The chef, okay? One of the kids in Drip Drop's video does have a K-bar knife, and he is a frat bro. But here's the thing about them knives. There's millions of those knives sold. There's one in this house, okay? And I wasn't in Idaho, all right? Got proof. But what I'm saying is them knives are really, really common. What ain't common is that Bryan Kohberger ordered that knife sheath, and it has his DNA on it, okay? That's pretty uncommon. So he has to explain how that DNA is in that house, and it's his on a knife sheath that he ordered But yet, people are still out here trying to put the blame on other people and thinking other people have involvement in these killings, right? No. Bryan Kohberger is a sick-ass dude that has some perverted fantasy in his mind. I don't know what that is because I'm not a serial killer or I'm not a person like that. But something is wrong with this dude, okay? And he's committed these crimes and he's going to pay with his life, you know? But I don't know why people would be out here still saying, like, you know, Jack D. This is like, that seems like so last year, but it is what it is.
No, I'm not happy how much time I wasted looking for a 2011 white Hyundai Elantra in Moscow, Idaho. It was a lot of time, days of my life looking at the satellite images.
You'll never get that back, Drip Drop. You'll never get that back, right? And, you know, y'all looking around for that car. That car was on its way to Pennsylvania with the police trailing it. So the police did a good job in this. They were a little underhanded to the public. You know, I have to admit that. Little underhanded. But, you know, they just didn't want to show their cards, is what I believe. And they did a good job. They tracked him down. They arrested him. They had more than we knew. But somebody in the FBI had leaked that stuff because that stuff had got out, you know. And I don't know who the 10 to Life girl knows. But during that, she had all kind of information that could have only came from, like, the feds or somebody directly involved in it. Because she was putting out stuff that was, she wasn't 100% accurate. But she was every bit of 85% accurate in almost everything she said, right? And that, in true crime, when you, like, speculating, is really good, right? Like, you know something. You know somebody. I knew at that point, I was like, yo, this girl knows somebody. There's just no way that you that good, okay? And, but yeah, so, let's get it.
Cruising around on Street View and looking at realtor images. There was a lot of time spent looking for the wrong car. All the news stations told us to look for the 2011 to 2013. I looked and you looked too. So, what I'm getting at, they were playing with Bryan Kohberger's mind like a yo-yo. They wanted to psychologically mess with his head. They wanted to see what he would do.
Okay, I'm going to ask the chat right now. How many people out there think the police were psychologically playing with Bryan Kohberger's mind? Press 1. If you think this is just some old coincidence shit, press 2. I'm going with 2. I'm definitely going with 2. But let me know in the chat real quick before we continue this. I want to know where the people are at. Kate D says, you think they were toying with his mind? I don't think the police were toying with his mind. I think the police were keeping everything close. And they didn't want to leak information that may let the suspect know that they're on to him. Okay, because if I'm a criminal and I know the police are looking for me, I'm going to skip town. I'm going to get the hell up out of Dodge, right? But if I think they ain't looking for me, they put out some misinformation. Oh, we're looking for a blue car, but really they know I got a white car. I'm thinking, oh, I'm good, right? I'm good. They're looking for a blue car. They don't even know it's me. And then next thing you know, boom, the SWAT team's running up on you. I mean, I would think that would be the best way to do your police operation. But as the public in a situation like this is what I'm saying. We're talking about a college, right? And I have a college-age daughter. And this man is on the loose. You know it's a white man. You know he's 6 foot something. You know he's 185 pounds. You know he has dark hair, bushy eyebrows. Why not release that? Because that could have saved somebody else's life. You see a dude that fits that bill, a girl could be like, oh, let me get away from this guy. Or let me, you know. You have that little bit of awareness, you know, and they didn't give the general public none of that.
And coincidentally enough, 5 days later, he left for Pennsylvania. Either you believe in coincidences or you don't. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
Look, I believe in coincidences. Definitely believe in coincidences. And I see somebody out there says they believe that his dad knew about it. I also think that, okay? Because when the police walked up to the car, his dad seemed more scared and nervous than he did. All right. Callie Strong has been a member for 14 months. My parrot started yelling Dolly, LOL. Seriously. Awesome. Dolly! That's a cool parrot. Okay. So I also believe that. I mean, look, as a parent, You raised that child. You know he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's probably said strange things since he was a teenager. It was all over world news. You know what I'm saying? Every state in the country's carrying it. Every news channel is talking about this white car. You know your son's in that state. You know he drives a white car, right? You know he's a weirdo. You know he said weird and strange things because you raised his ass. He's just as strange as his daddy, right? His daddy flew across the country to drive back with him. Don't make no sense, right? He's a grown-ass man that has traveled alone before, and he travels around at night by himself killing people, but he can't drive home by himself. His daddy had to go with him. I don't quite buy that. I ain't saying that his daddy knew, but I do believe his daddy suspected that Bryan Kohberger was the killer. I bet you when they busted up in his house, right, in the Poconos, I bet you he wasn't too shocked, right? You don't hear them out there screaming, "My son is innocent." Do you hear that? Anybody hear it? Right? I hear crickets. Where's his family at screaming? Where's his sister at talking about my brother didn't do it? Right? Where's the mama screaming, "Please free my son"? Where's the daddy going, "You got the wrong guy"? Where is any of that at? It ain't happening. You know why? They're a drippy drip. Because they got the right guy. They got a lot of evidence against them. The kids at the college didn't do it. You're speculating. And what if somebody was to say, do something to one of them kids? Right? You don't know how crazy people are out in this world. You don't. You can be like, "Oh, them frat boys are responsible." Next thing you know, one of them frat boys walking a bar, some dude's done drunk and watch your video, got his fucking corpse makeup on and slaps the shit out of one of these kids thinking they're a killer. And they ain't done nothing to nobody. They just caught up because they in Idaho. Right? I don't think most of these kids have made it into college. They're starting their lives. I don't think most young people these days, okay, just want to completely throw their life away. It's hard to get into college. Okay? So, I mean, I know there's ungrateful ass kids, but I just knew in the beginning it didn't fit the profile of a kid, that this was somebody sick. This is somebody pretty intelligent. I knew that because, serial killers, they believe most serial killers are above average intelligence. Usually dum-dums are not serial killers. So you're like, "Yeah, bro, keg stands." That ain't your serial killer. Okay? The dude sitting there with a book all quiet, oh, he won't bother nobody. That's the dude that chops you up. Okay? Facts. That's just the way it is. All right? And you look at Bryan Kohberger. PhD, student, criminology, trying to be involved with the police force. He fits every fucking profiler in the FBI to the T. Like, they couldn't make this up. It makes profilers look like they actually know what they're talking about. Right? I'm like, damn, these profilers be knowing what they're talking about, because this dude fits every bit of that. Is there anybody out there that disagrees with me? Press 1, okay? Now, I think he fits the bill. Not only that, the eyes cannot hide evil. You can see it in Ted Bundy, and you can see it in Bryan Kohberger.
This whole thing can't just be one big coincidence.
No.
No.
Yes.
Did Bryan Kohberger going to Pennsylvania with his father on the 36-hour road trip mean anything?
Yeah, it means his daddy suspected his son was a killer. Okay, why would he fly across the country if not? I believe his daddy, if he didn't know, he suspected his son was the killer.
Was it just a coincidence? I think they probably did spook him, and they probably even interviewed him too. The interview that Ann Taylor requested that wasn't recorded. I do think that Moscow PD interviewed Bryan Kohberger sometime between November 29th and December 12th, when he left with his father to go to Pennsylvania. So yeah, I think Bryan Kohberger was spooked after being interviewed, after seeing the U-Haul, after hearing they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra. Bryan Kohberger has a high IQ.
He was a PhD.
Okay, well, I'm sure he was spooked a little bit when they were looking for a white Elantra when he drove one. Okay? So, yeah, that's going to spook you as a criminal. Okay, yeah, they seen the car. Right? And I don't think the Pennsylvania U-Haul that's total coincidence. And once that DNA came back, they knew. right? But they didn't know up until then, right? They were just like everybody else. Who did it? Who could have done it? There's a lot of people around us. There's a lot of connections to people. They had to rule a bunch of stuff out. But when that DNA hit from that knife sheath, which there's points that I think Bryan Kohberger either made a terrible mistake by leaving that knife, or he wanted this attention and he wanted to be caught, and he left enough evidence that he thought he could possibly beat. Okay? I think this is a game. Look, I think Bryan Kohberger's a smart guy, and he's playing like a dangerous game with his life. If he was dumb enough to actually drop that knife sheath and leave it there, just think, not one piece of DNA on nothing, which is almost next to impossible. Okay? No DNA in his car, no DNA in his apartment, no DNA at his mother's house, nothing that leads to the Idaho 4 whatsoever. That's damn near impossible. And that's why a lot of people are arguing that he's innocent, right? But you got to explain that knife sheath with his DNA. And how did it get there? And he had just recently ordered that knife sheath. So a new knife sheath that he just ordered, he lost. Somebody got it with his DNA and nobody else's DNA on it, and planted it at the scene of a murder? Nah, that didn't happen. Okay? That is, he's done. That knife sheath did him in. I mean, that just did him in. And at this point, when you know that knife sheath has his DNA, and you know what's at the crime scene, and you know what's underneath her body, and you still pointing the fingers at somebody else, like, why at this point?
PhD college student.
He probably saw the writing on the wall on what was about to happen. The outsider was about to take the fall for this horrendous, disgusting, sickening crime. And some of you may or may not be aware, Bryan Kohberger and his father were pulled over twice on his travels home. Both times he was pulled over in Indiana. Delphi, Indiana? Well, they weren't in Delphi, but they were about an hour and a half away from Delphi, Indiana. Another coincidence, ladies and gentlemen? Or was it the cult of Odin that was pulling over Bryan Kohberger?
Okay, stuff like that. Is it a coincidence? One, he wasn't in Delphi. He was an hour and a half from Delphi. Okay, now if he would have been in Delphi, that would have been different, but he wasn't even there. And now you're talking about, is that a coincidence? Boom, and shit. It's like, after I watched this, I was like, okay, this is a lot different than his videos months ago when he was doing updates. Right now, he's just throwing out wild, crazy. I mean, now the cult of Odinism, which is a joke in the Richard Allen stuff. There's no cult that killed Abby and Libby. Okay? And this is just some shit spun by some. Say anything, any kind of doubt is doubt. Okay? And you get enough people to doubt, you might get off some shit. But this has nothing to do with the cult of Odin. Damn, the Delphi murder didn't have nothing to do with the cult of Odin. There's some people out there that would argue with me on that. Okay? You had that right. It does look a little like a ritual, but that also could be staged. I do believe that Keegan and Richard Allen are connected somehow. Okay? Hold on, callers. Let's get through this video first before you start blowing up the phone lines. So, yeah, totally coincidence. He has to go that way to get home. Okay? So, I mean, he thinks, Drip Trop is so in the conspiracy that he thinks everything is a conspiracy. That's the bad thing about when you start getting into conspiracies. Then you'd be like, everything's connected. The Illuminati did it.
We don't know, but we need to know. Yeah, we do. And a big shout out to Rich.
We do know. It don't have nothing to do with a Drip Drop. I hate to inform you. I'll let you know. All right, now you know.
Richard Allen's former defense attorneys for trying to fight the cult of Odin in the courtroom. A very brief reminder. Everything in this episode is someone else's fantasy, all alleged, and nothing is considered factual, and all individuals are presumed innocent. Now, moving right along, the tarot card. Before I made my episode, a lot of people contacted me and told me that was a tarot card. I'm no tarot expert, and I'm no prayer expert either. No. After I broadcast my episode...
Loaded Hot says, the cult stuff was investigated by the FBI before they, pushed off the case. I mean, because of the sticks. And, you know, draining blood does sound a little occultish. And, you know, the sticks. But they believe the bodies were moved and it was a staged scene. Now, I don't think anybody was out there doing, you know, occult stuff. Now, the bridge guy, which we seen on video, did he walk up with a robe and torch? Talking about, down the hill, girls. No, it was a dude with a baseball cap on and a damn jacket with his hands in his pocket. Didn't look too occultish, okay? I ain't saying he couldn't be a cult member, but it didn't look like they were kidnapped by a mob of fork wielding, torch burning, let's sacrifice kids people. To me. Now, y'all might have seen a different Delphi, Indiana video on the bridge guy, but the guy I seen didn't look like that. Okay? Just saying.
So hundreds of people told me that was a prayer card. Well, ladies and gentlemen, both cards look very similar, but that wasn't even what the video was about. It could have been a rare mint condition holographic Charizard Pokemon card. I don't care. The point is, it was there and then it wasn't there. And it was right on top of a very suspicious looking yellow brick that said follow the yellow brick road. Another clue. And that's what we do.
Another clue. All right, there was a card. And there was a brick that said follow the yellow brick road. Okay, then you're going to get to the wizard. Okay, drip drop. And the wizard's going to tell you to click your heels together and get the fuck out of his shop. Be like, look, man, you done lost your damn mind. It's all a conspiracy. They got the right person. Get the hell out of here, drip drop.
As online sleuths, we look for the clues. We look for the changes in scenery. We read the things behind the people being interviewed. That's the important part. Not if it...
No, the facts are the important part. I mean, you're forgetting the fact that there's a knife sheath there, that his DNA is on it, and his ass is done. You're forgetting that fact. All right? I think everybody at this point knows this dude is done. Okay? Like, stick a fork in him. He's done, right? But you're running with this wild ass conspiracy. It seems insane.
If it was a prayer card or a tarot or a Pokemon, that's the irrelevant part. Somebody even contacted the chief of police regarding that card, and we're gonna get to that. And a lot of these people are in secret societies and they're really good at hiding it, so we have to look for the little clues.
Which could end up being big clues.
I mean, seriously, look at this hand symbol right here.
Ooh. Right? Look at this hand signal right here. Look at this one right here. And that one right there. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? The man is sitting. How's he supposed to sit? He's trying to talk. Okay? So he's thinking this is some... He might know, because he looks like he's in a cult. Okay?
We've seen the same hand symbol in Delphi, Indiana.
I mean, a lot of people sit like that, like this. Sometimes I even sit like this. And if I had my hands down, it'd be the same thing. Okay? But usually I sit with my hands more up. It's that evil Mr. Burns, like you're plotting to take over the world. So I don't think that's really like, it ain't like he's out here like this. You know what I'm saying? Tom Cruise in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, making these videos and presenting them to you is very dangerous. This is the type of stuff that could get me passed away. Yeah, in these secret societies,
this stuff could get him passed away. I don't know about that drip drop. Might get you put in a loony bin, a padded room, okay? Get you locked away. Don't know about passed away.
Start in the fraternities. They really do. You've heard of Skull and Bones? That's one of the most famous ones. Some former presidents were in that one. Some very powerful people join these communities. I've never been in one myself. And a war...
Stop lying. Stop lying. He's never been in one of these communities. Secret societies. You dress like you're in a cult, okay? Your shit is crime... What is it? Crime circus cult? Alright? And he act like I ain't never known about this. Then you offer a reward that's for $666. Okay? That's pretty Satanist right there. Just weird stuff like that. You say a cult shit yourself. It's
warning and disclaimer to any unhinged internet sleuths watching this video right now. Do not contact the police. Stop bothering the chief. Do not attempt to contact any attorneys in this case, and don't be weird.
Don't be a turtle boy, okay? Don't, basically, that's what he said. Don't be turtle boy, all right? Don't contact the police. Don't bother people in the case. Don't do none of that stuff.
Seriously, this is a private, independent presentation, broadcast investigation. Do not involve anybody with any of these theories. These are between me and you.
Because he knows blaming these kids, you know, it could cause something to happen, right? As an adult, I know you start blaming people for things could happen to them. It's a dangerous game to play.
This isn't for others' consumption. Anything you need to say, don't say it to any of those individuals I just mentioned. Say it down in my comments section.
PCT said he looks like a clown that runs up to people's cars. I just, like I said, when he was doing the update videos, I really liked him. I was even telling people, hey, check out Drip Drop, man. That shit's pretty cool. He's got a cool channel. But then, you know, but people then came back and told me, they were like, yo, man, that dude speculates about everything. It's like he runs with the craziest conspiracies. So when I got a chance to watch it, I was just like, and hearing this shit, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. I mean, this case is pretty much done. I mean, we know Kohberger did it. I mean, if I was on the jury, and I think most people out here were on the jury, he's going to prison for the rest of his life, at least. So to still be running with Jack D did it, or something with the bartender, or I think it's, you know, I don't know, still blaming the kids.
And that's your best bet of getting your message across and somebody reading it. There's going to be millions of people watching this video, and some of them may read your comment, and I might even read it too. And now the moment some of you have been waiting for.
Guys, when y'all leave a comment here, I read every single one of them. If I don't comment back, it's because I'm tied up and busy, but I read every comment you guys leave, all right? It ain't got to be nothing special. It could be like, Dolly, your face sucks. I still read it.
Reward money. It's about time somebody puts up reward money in this case. In every major news story that I've seen, there's been reward money offered, but that was never offered in this case.
Hold on,
Even
callers.
after 6 weeks, they never offered a single penny. They bragged about getting thousands of clues and tips, but reward money was never offered. The university didn't offer it. None of the authorities offered it. No money was offered. I'm personally offering $666 for the discovery and recovery of the alleged passing away weapon in this case.
Why would you offer? You could have picked any number in the world, right, to offer money. You could have been like, hey, I give you $500. I give you $1,000. Why would you be dressed like you're in a cult, crime circus cult, and your reward is $666? I wouldn't even take your reward. Okay, if you was just like, hey man, here's your $666 reward, I'd be like, man, take that shit and shove it up your ass. You take $1 off and give me $665, or add another $1. Okay, like I don't even like the number, right? You little baby Satan ass, right? We want some little baby Jesus in our life. We don't need your 666 shit. Okay, next thing you be up there biting the head off a bat. We too old for that shit.
We've been told it's possibly a K-bar. It might be a golf club, or it might be a machete. We don't know.
It might be a zebra.
But if you do find it, turn it into the authorities and then contact me, and then I'll cash app you. $606.
Thank you, One Eyed Flo, for being a member for 10 months. It says, Happy November. It is cold now. It got cold in one day. It like instantly turned to wintertime. I don't know where y'all at in the country, but Virginia is cold as shit tonight. I was like, what happened to the heat? It was so warm, and now it's freezing.
$66. This is no joke. But wait, that's not all. There's more.
That's a joke. You know, one, he says, if anybody else gets arrested, he'll give them $666. Nobody else is getting arrested. They got the person that did it. That's what I'm saying. You're encouraging stupidity at this point. Turtle Gang, $10 just because. Thank you. Come aboard the Dolly train. We'll get you a good seat right there. A good seat. Thank you there, Turtle Gang. Put you by the window. Make sure you got a nice view. All that good stuff. Guys, I'll take calls right after this video. All right. I just want to get through it.
I'm also offering $1,122 for information that leads to the arrest of anybody involved in this case in any capacity whatsoever. Anybody.
So he picked the address, okay, 1122. What was it, King Road? So that's why he picked that number. But the first number he picked was another significant number, I guess, to him, and that was the 666 number. Boom. Evil.
Anybody besides Bryan Kohberger, he's already been arrested. So if you have a tip or a clue, just leave it down in my comments.
I think we got a super chat.
My comments are being heavily monitored right now, and that'll be the best place to leave your clue. And the money isn't the only thing that you have the potential to be rewarded with. Along with the $1,122, I'm also offering a 2-night sleepover at Crime Circus with all expenses paid for.
Oh my God.
Ooh. Dude. Like, I don't know. You have to probably pay me to stay with you, Crime Circus. You seem a little strange, bro. You might be a good dude. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, you could have some cool video games. You know what I'm saying? You might have some skateboards. You could have a damn jacuzzi. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know. And look, I hate to tell you this. There's nobody a bigger horror fan than Dolly. Okay? I mean, I got Freddy's, Jason's, Chucky's. I mean, it looks like a damn... You walked into a serial killer's house. And I still don't know if I would stay with you. Okay? I just don't know. Now, if you had some good cron, I'm like, yeah, what up, drip drop? Twist that shit up.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah. Comment down below if you want to win this reward, because I am serious. These are 2 real rewards that I'm putting.
Does anybody want to spend the night with Drip Drop? Press 1 in the chat if you want to spend the night with Drip Drop. Okay? I'll pay for it. Anybody want to spend the night with Drip Drop? You ain't even got to win it. I'll pay for all expenses paid to spend the night with Drip Drop. You just tell me how it went. Okay? Press 1 in the chat if you want to spend the night with Drip Drop. If you want to skip it, press 2. Okay? 1, you want to spend the night. Anybody want to stay? Anybody want to stay with Drip Drop? I'm sure somebody out here want to stay with Drip Drop. Right there, Melissa. Melissa wants to stay with Drip Drop. Look, we'll hit Drip Drop up and be like, Drip, make sure you look out for Melissa. Right? She got faith in you. She ain't scared. She ain't scared. He could probably cook. You know what I'm saying? If not, he could give you some makeup tips. Be like, here, this is how you put on your eyeliner. You know what I'm saying? Here's a little bit of these are good brushes to use to rub that shit in your face. I mean, I don't know. Look, Raise Hell Eat Cornbread said he stayed with Drip Drop. Yeah, but you hang out with me. That just tells you right there you're a nut, okay? You invited me to your house. Who invites Dolly to their house? That's crazy, okay? That's insane. So, of course, I know you would go stay the night with Drip Drop, okay? Tina said she's running behind the booth. She just jumped on the Dolly train, okay? You get you a seat, PCT. We'll get you over there. I don't know. I don't know if we can get you a window seat, though. All right, but we'll get you a seat for sure. All right? Might be standing room. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Putting up because we want answers, and I'll pay any price to get the truth. Now, before we...
Will you pay $1 million? And some sharks with laser beams? Because I can tell you the truth, all right? And I want my million with the sharks and the laser beams. They got the dude that did it. His DNA is at the crime scene, okay? He's never been in the house. How does DNA get there? He did it, okay? I want $1 million with sharks and laser beams for sure, all right? Send me a DM. I'll get you the address.
We get to the next segment in this case, I do want to let you know we have been spoon-fed many distractions in this case. So many rumors.
That's what I'm getting spoon-fed right now. That's what I feel like. It's just all kinds of shit that don't have nothing to do with Bryan Kohberger.
Lies, misdirection, so on and so forth. We've wasted so much time going down different rabbit holes, but I guess we had to go down just to make sure because we investigate everything.
I guess you do, right? I mean, I guess you do. But look, I think you should investigate the important things. You know, the layout of the house. Did he know the house? But then when you know that the case is pretty much solved, I believe that Bryan Kohberger acted alone. He went in there and he killed people. All right, his DNA's there. He left a knife sheath. Did he purposely leave it? I don't know. Did he accidentally leave it? I don't know. But I know what was left. They got it. DNA technology has linked it to him. They arrested his ass. He's going to prison for the rest of his life. Now, you can sit out here for the next 30 years and blame the kids. Tammy just jumped on the train. Thank you, Tammy. Welcome aboard. Sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. We got a little ride to go, okay?
And now it's all becoming so clear, crystal clear. I personally believe that the answers in this case lie within Sigma Chi.
No. Boom.
You see, there was a big fight at Sigma Chi at a fraternity party the night of this crime.
There's fights at fraternity parties every night, okay? Every night. They fight all the time. They get drunk, party. Every weekend there's a fight, okay? It's like, that's what happens. So this wasn't no unusual event for people to argue and fight when they're drinking, okay? You ever been to a party? There, drip drop? All right? People fight. That's what happens.
Certainly another coincidence for some of you doubters out there. I've been told that Ethan, one of the victims in this case, was in a fight at Sigma Chi in Moscow, Idaho with one of his fraternity brothers, and his fraternity brother had roid rage.
Roid rage, okay? See, this is just wild speculation, wild, crazy.
Ethan made fun of him for having shriveled raisins, and Xana broke up the fight. Yeah, boom. Also,
I mean, at this point, it's basically saying Bryan Kohberger didn't do it. Okay? Reese's Cup, welcome aboard. Jump on the DOLLY train. The DOLLY train! Okay? He's pretty much saying Bryan Kohberger didn't do it. That one of these frat bros did this. That it's connected to that. You know, but then what's his conspiracy? You know, because somebody just said he's really intelligent. And I don't doubt he's an intelligent guy. And he could date a supermodel. That ain't the point. Okay? The point is this. That this is crazy to say now, knowing what we know now. This is almost like a video he should have made before they arrested Bryan Kohberger. Okay? Like, what do they call it when it comes out before the movies? A prequel? Or it ain't it's the prequel. The beginning. You know what I'm saying? This is like that. Like, we know now that Bryan Kohberger, K-Bard, he ordered the knife. He ordered the sheath. He don't have the knife. They have the sheath. Okay? He was out that night. His phone pinged in that area. There's so much damaging evidence against Bryan Kohberger. To come out with a video like this is almost insane. Okay? I mean, it's just insane, right? Like, now, if he was making theories that Bryan Kohberger didn't act alone and that maybe one of these people up here are connected to Bryan Kohberger like I do with Keegan Kline and Richard Allen, maybe I could get behind it a little more, you know? But at this point, you're just like, yo, somebody else did it without saying that. It's like you're trying to skirt around it because if you say that, then the whole first half of your video don't make sense. Okay? Or they were playing mind games with somebody that didn't do it. How did they, you know what I'm saying? That don't make damn sense. Why would they think he did it to play mind games with them? See? Your shit don't make sense. It had me confused. I was like, did he do it? Did he do it? Who did it? By the end of it, you know, it's like,
fraternity bro wanted Xana, but he could not have her because she loved Ethan. Yeah.
no!
So, my theory. Xana did not order DoorDash at 4 a.m. It's been brought to my attention that Xana ate pizza at around midnight.
Okay, look, listen to this. The police spoke with the DoorDash driver, cleared the DoorDash Dash driver. Now, don't you think the DoorDash driver would have been like, look, I went to the door, nobody answered, they didn't call. The DoorDash driver would have told the police that. That's easily information to prove or disprove. We know that they got DoorDash. You know what I'm saying? The police spoke with the driver of the vehicle that brought the DoorDash. They cleared that person. So that person told the police whatever happened that night. They went up to the door and whatever transpired, I'm sure they shared that with the police. To be like, oh, they didn't even order DoorDash. They had pizza. And that Bryan Kohberger ordered DoorDash. they would know this. They would be able to prove this. You know what I'm saying? So that never happened. You know, so that theory is just crazy.
And we can all see the pizza boxes in the trash. And check.
It's a damn young. There's pizza boxes in my trash right now. I guarantee I can walk right over to my trash right now and grab a pizza box. I guarantee it. All right? I guarantee I can walk and get a pizza box right now. I can tell you this. I didn't have pizza. There's a pizza box from the other day. Thrown in the trash. When I take the trash out, the pizza box will go with it. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at a picture with some pizza boxes in the trash, you know if that was ate today. And you, with college kids, they might not have took that trash out for 2 damn weeks. That shit could have been sitting there since 3 weeks ago. That pizza could have been from 8 months ago. You know what I'm saying? But I doubt it. They had a lot of young ladies in the house, and usually young ladies keep their shit pretty straight, pretty clean. Now, if that was a house full of dudes, I would say, yeah, them pizza boxes are probably 6 months old. But would it be in women? But college women, I give it, they might be a week old, or they are a few days old, about to go out with the trash. So that don't mean they didn't eat that night. Yeah, there's pizza boxes. They couldn't eat nothing. How they eat all them pizza? Maybe they were hungry. Maybe they were taking bong rips and gonna eat everything in the house. You know what I'm saying?
This picture out. This is a picture of Ethan and Xana. Does this look like a couple that was ready to order DoorDash delivery? Does this girl look like she was on TikTok? No, they were passed out at 4 a.m.
They was not passed out at 4 a.m. Okay? Ethan fought Kohberger. He fought for his life. Okay? They were awake. Okay? Not only were they awake, but Dylan was awake. Okay? She heard them begging for help. Okay? She heard them. So that means to beg for help, you ain't begging for help unconsciously. You're begging for help while you're awake. And somebody's attacking you. And it's still hard to believe Dylan listened to that and didn't do nothing. Alright? I mean, he's talking like he don't know the information that we know now. Right? Like he just took all that and threw it out the window and just runs left. Okay? Which don't make no sense to me.
My opinion, I think that DoorSlash was allegedly ordered by the actual KILLERs. Yeah, I really do. I think that this was a ploy to trick.
He knows he said killers. He believes there's more than one killer. Okay? We had an eyewitness. That seen one man clad in black with a mask covering his face, white, bushy eyebrows, come out of that room that Ethan and them were in, exit out the back of the house. I think Dylan would have said, hey, there was 2-3 people. There were 7 frat boys that went in the house. I think the eyewitness would have seen more than one person. Unless there was somebody in the vehicle, of course, they wouldn't have been able to see that. But I think this is the case of one person. Somehow Kohberger possibly seen these girls on the internet and had been stalking them. I mean, it's the only thing that his phone's in that area. He really had no reason to be in that area. I don't know. Seems pretty cut and dry to me that Kohberger is the killer.
Investigators, and it worked. Also, the 4:12 a.m. TikTok that
increase your profit and work less time with Kittle, a genius new AI tool which is perfect.
We've all been told about in the PCA. It means nothing. It's a red herring, a false clue. When you install the TikTok app, you actually give it permission to do anything and everything the app feels like. And it's Chinese based and it's spyware and it can activate videos by itself.
Okay. So here's where the conspiracy, here's where Drip Drop done hit his head on a tent pole, okay, in the circus. TikTok, I mean, I'm possibly, you do give it permissions to do certain things, but TikTok was not activating itself that night for her. They were on TikTok. The girl Dylan was awake. Possibly Bethany was awake. Okay, it hadn't been. It's only been like what? They got home around 2:30 ish. So to think 4 o'clock in the morning, they only been home an hour and a half, and a couple of them was already in bed. Okay, so, and you know, college people, late night people. Yeah. So I believe that they were getting, you know, Ethan and Xana, they were definitely getting ready for bed. They wouldn't have been up much longer, and they were probably getting ready to lay it down, and then this happened. So,
My God.
If the phone was used at 4:12 a.m. for TikTok, that doesn't mean Xana did it. It could have either done it by itself or a frat.
he said he's probably watching this and breaking makeup sticks. I mean, I just disagree with what he's saying. Nothing personally against Drip Drop. I mean, he can wear all the damn makeup he wants. You know what I'm saying? But it's really crazy speculation is what I'm saying, and I just disagree with most of it. I believe that it's pretty much done. Kohberger's done it, and to keep accusing other people, right, when there's no evidence that points at any of those people, none whatsoever. There's not one drop of evidence in that house that points at other people. There's nobody else's DNA at the crime scene where on a knife, you know? So that's pretty damaging.
Bro could have been looking through her phone.
Oh my God.
There's been a lot of cases where somebody else accessed a deceased person's phone after they passed away to look through it and to throw off investigators. I wish it wasn't so, but it seems so. Now let's discuss this image that I previously showed you. It's a big knife. Okay? Let's zoom in closer and take an even better look. Specifically, it's a K-bar.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is 1 million of those knives are sold. Okay? There's actually a military academy not far from there. This is a real popular U.S. Marine Corps knife. I mean, there's tons and tons of these knives out there. This ain't like there's a 1 in a million knife. Okay? There's a millions of them. Like, you can, probably 1 in 25 people own one. It's probably that common.
Boom. These are Sigma Chi fraternity boys. This image was taken just across the street from 1122 King Road. The frat bros have a K-bar knife in their possession.
Ooh, boom. Okay, like, so does a lot of people. That don't mean they killed the people. But you know what they don't got? Is DNA on the knife sheath inside the house. You know who does have that? Bryan Kohberger. Okay, he has DNA on a knife sheath found inside the house. He fits the description of the eyewitness to the T, to the height, to the weight, to the bushy eyebrows. Right? So he fits the description. He was in the area. His DNA is in the house. Right? His phone is pinged in the area at the times of the murder. His phone was turned off at the times of the murder. And he just happened to be out taking a drive during the times of the murder. He is guilty as shit. Alright? To know somebody's that guilty and sit here and still try to blame some kids that are in school trying to start their future is insane. Okay? Alright, this caller's been calling for a minute. Let's see what you want, caller. Hold on. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey, who's this? Where you calling from?
This is your beloved Rose.
I knew it
from
was you,
Virginia.
Rose. I just knew it was you.
Are you happy about that or not?
I just knew it was you. Like, I was playing a video and you just kept calling, and I was like, I just got to be Rose from Virginia.
Yeah, well, I mean, get over it. The dude looks like a little bit more grown-up Chucky, you know?
Well, he's
I
dressed
mean,
up like Chucky.
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
Yeah, but Chucky was a little doll back in the day, just cute, and then he was, you know, now he looks like he's 12 or 13. Weird, right? To have as much knowledge. But anyway, back to the Bryan Kohberger case. I mean, we're talking about how a person looks. Oh, because you look this way, you could be a serial killer.
Well, if you look like Ted Bundy, there's a possibility.
Yeah. So we're what it's called is we're archetyping. If you have these certain, you know, this
trait,
you know, traits, you could be a serial killer.
There's truth to that.
Well, I think there is. I think we're learning as a society.
I mean, if you look
Now-
like a crazy ass psycho, there's a good odds or you might be a crazy ass psycho.
Well, I gotta tell you, it's the thing in his face. He's got this really determined looking face, right? It's almost kind of scary, like to me, like, well, whoa, it just, but yet he's supposedly this timid, kind of shy, non-social person, but he's got a really intense face, right?
Kohberger?
He has intense Kohberger.
Yeah, I agree. It's the look in his eyes. He got them evil looking ass eyes.
It's intense. And what I've been thinking, amongst all this mumble jumble, is that have you ever seen a defense? His defense is like a pro bono. What are they?
Public defenders.
The county.
Yeah.
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 They are working hard, and I'm telling you, he is running the show, and that's where all his schooling and knowledge, he is running the show of how this court case is going to go down, because you will never have seen, what was that word again, Jimmy, that, someone who's given to you because you can't afford a lawyer.
A public defender.
A public defender.
Yeah.
His public defenders are like, they're really standing up and shit, right? I mean,
Yeah, but they keep
I wish I'd
losing.
had-
They ain't winning nothing. He's still going to prison
but
forever.
I'm saying, well, that's okay, but I'm just wanting to throw out, he's got some good public defenders, I gotta say.
Well, he got
And
the
I
top
think-
public defenders in Idaho because there's only certain ones that are qualified enough to do a death penalty case.
Is that right?
Yeah, so they don't just give them
Well-
anybody. They give them
well,
to people
thank
that
you,
they're
thank
qualified to cover a death penalty case.
Well, thank you for that information. I guess I was thinking they were just
They
little
don't. They don't.
public
They don't give you
defenders.
the. They don't give you the new guy that just showed up
Yeah,
day 2.
okay.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
They don't
but,
give you that guy.
Okay, so you're basically agreeing with me. These public defenders know what they're doing.
Some of them, but they still work for the state, and they're still in the end going to make sure you go to prison.
Well, what I want to know is, and this has always bothered me, that when he got arrested, he said, was anybody else arrested? And this is the keyhole for me.
Yeah, but a
brain.
lot of people say that stuff when they get arrested. It's to throw doubt.
Well, the keyhole that went, the smoke that went through the keyhole in my brain is, it always leads me back to how could he commit those 4 very violent murders? And even Ethan and his girlfriend were fighting back in those 4 few minutes and walk out without blood or some DNA somewhere. It just boggles my mind. I think it would take at least 4 people to commit that kind of
No, I don't think it'd take 4 people to kill 4 people. I mean, if you caught 2 of them like the girls were asleep, the only real
well,
fight
maybe
he had was
just
with...
one of them.
Yeah, but how much...
He
Think
was
about this.
one of
Let's be
them.
honest. The only person that really probably put up a really good fight was Ethan. Okay? Because he's a big dude. How much chance do you think them chicks stood against a 6'3", 180-pound
Well,
dude with a knife?
That leads me to the other question that I think still stirs our brains like a blender, like a margarita or something, is how come those 2 roommates downstairs didn't hear all that?
They
horror?
did. They heard it, 100% heard all of it.
Well, here's the other thing, Jimmy. They had a gag order on this because they don't want it to be so politicized that the guy can't get a fair trial. And that is important in America. We do give fair trials, or we're supposed to. But the thing is
OJ.
that, what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
But the thing is that you know, he said who else got arrested. It's like it almost gave him away. It's like he knew. I think he had a partner in this.
I don't know. I think the more
Some
people
weirdo.
involved, and here's another thing to go into drip drop. If all these kids were involved, somebody would talk. Facts. Young people can't shut up for nothing. They tell on themselves every day on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Somebody would tell. That's how I know none of these kids did it. But look, Rose, I appreciate you calling. You be good.
I know you do. And I love you and PJ so
Awesome.
much. God bless you. And, hey, Jimmy, I might call back a little later because I'm thinking a lot tonight.
Okay. I might not answer later because I'm not answering a lot tonight. All right,
You're a
Rose from
freak.
Virginia, you be good. Peace. All right, guys, that was Rose from Virginia. Rudely interrupting. Okay, it wasn't too rudely. You all right, Rose? You all right with me? I'm just picking. Let's finish up drip drip.
That's alarming. That's concerning. That needs further investigation. Did investigators ever locate these boys and say, "Where's your knife? We'd like to test it"? The knife in this photo needs to be processed.
I mean, look, drip drop. If they would have took that knife sheath and it would have been one of those boys' DNA, then of course they would have went and tested their knife. Okay? But why would they test a knife that don't go to that sheath that has somebody else's DNA on it? Okay? It's not just the knife, it's the knife sheath. It's the key thing you're leaving out with the DNA on it. Okay? It didn't have no frat bros DNA on it. It didn't have any of these fraternity kids DNA. It didn't have Jack D, Jack S, Jack shit. It had Bryan Kohberger's on it, on the button. Okay? That's why Bryan Kohberger's in jail. That's why these other kids' shit ain't being tested. This is why these other kids' shit ain't being questioned, because these kids don't have anything to do with it. They have the person that is responsible. If the kids did it, what's stopping them from doing it again? I don't see nobody else getting stabbed up with a K-bar around there. It ain't like the Scream movies. This ain't Hollywood. Okay? The killer is behind bars with his bushy ass eyebrows, plucking him with damn every chance he gets, pulling one out.
And tested for bodily fluids and possible DNA. And if that knife is missing, or it's missing its sheath, that's a red flag.
If it's missing its sheath. Okay, but here's the thing. Bryan Kohberger ordered the sheath. They found the sheath with Bryan Kohberger's DNA on it. Why would that be somebody else's sheath with his DNA on it that he don't know? Alright? How did this frat bro get a knife sheath with Bryan Kohberger's DNA on it that he don't know? Okay? To me, it don't make sense. It ain't. They got the person, right? And just like, is this people blaming you? So he's trying to say, okay, so Kohberger is involved with the frat bro, because he said killers. I'm kind of confused of who the hell is the killer in Drip Drop's mind. First it was Kohberger, then it was the damn college kids. I think he blames everybody. I'm not for sure.
A really, really big red flag. Such a big red flag that if that's the case, that's a boom. And you know that's true. That can't just be another coincidence if that knife is missing, or its sheath is missing. These boys have some explaining to.
It could be a coincidence. What if he went and fucking lost a knife? What if he went camping with it and left it somewhere? What if there's a lot of reasons that knife or sheath could be gone? I mean, I've had one of those knives. I don't know where it's at now. Okay, so that tells you right, it could be gone. So, it happens.
To do. They really do. According to my research, my understanding is that fraternities are cults.
I don't know what the boom shit. Fraternities are cults. Fraternities are cults.
They have initiations, and they make members commit crimes, and they compile blackmail on you, and you're sworn to secrecy forever. And what do you know? We haven't heard a single peep from a fraternity boy or a sorority girl.
Because they ain't got nothing to do with it. Why would they want to talk to you if you're blaming them for killing somebody they ain't have nothing to do with? They trying to pass a damn exam. They got Drip Drop going, you did it. You know, I don't know. It seems insane to be blaming the kids still at this point. You know, this much longer later, and still like they got the dude in custody that did it, and you're still blaming other people, right? Just like the Turtle Boy stuff. Karen Reed backed over that man, hit him. You got him blaming the police, the DA, the prosecutors, the judge, the people that make you pizza and shit like that. It's insane.
Every single person in Moscow has been silent. Nobody has spoken except some creepy neighbors. They're not in the in club. They don't.
The neighbor was creepy. I have to say, the neighbor, he's a pretty damn creepy dude. I wouldn't want to live near that neighbor, but I don't think he had anything to do with it. He just needed attention. Like, he ain't never had a friend, and he was like, oh shit, people want to talk to me. He was one of those kind of guys.
Don't know anything. They're weird, yeah. Involved in this crime? No. Think about.
Okay, everybody else is involved, but the two weird ass neighbors can't have nothing to do with it. Okay? I would like your video better if you came up here and said, Dolly, these weird ass neighbors possibly had something to do with it. But you take the two weirdest motherfuckers in the whole thing and then be like, oh yeah, these two weird motherfuckers ain't got nothing to do with it. They ain't in the in crowd. You know, the people that are going to be doctors and lawyers and, you know, future leaders of this country, they the ones that did it. Okay? The ones that got the most to lose are the ones that did it. Okay?
About it, ladies and gentlemen. These 4 victims were very popular. They certainly had lots of friends and probably even some enemies too. Nobody has come on the record to say anything about them. This show right here, Crime Circus, has pulled in 10.
If he was up here blaming Dylan and Bethany, I could almost get behind it. Okay? I could be like, all right, maybe he right, them roommates strange as shit. I could be like that. But for Drip Drop to come up here and blame the kids again and shit like that, shit's insane, dude. Insane.
Tens of millions of views investigating the Idaho 4 in Moscow, Idaho. Not a single commenter has been from any fraternities or sororities. I'd like for them to say something on the record, but all they have to say for themselves is...
I mean, they might think you a clown. Okay? They might know what you're saying is bullshit. Because I'm sure that college, rumors spread quick. And shit, if somebody had something to do with it, that shit would come out fast. Young people can't keep nothing secret. That's how I feel about it, you know. So if there was all this involvement in this big cover-up conspiracy, somebody would have done talk by now. Bryan Kohberger acted alone. He went in there, did what he did. There's a lot of evidence that points to that. I ain't saying that it completely proves that. Just saying it points that he is a person of interest, severe interest. Okay, like, you got some explaining to do, that type of shit.
Now we're going to look at a map and some pictures, and we're going to put this in perspective on how close the fraternity house is to the crime scene. It's really only about a 1-minute walk, maybe 30 or 45 seconds if you're jogging or running. And a newsflash reminder to anybody that's forgot or just starting to follow this case, they initially told us this crime happened at about 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
At around...
I mean, they didn't know exactly, you know. So, you know, initial reports were a little scattered. They also told us a bunch of shit that wasn't true, so...
3:12 a.m. we see these individuals running from the direction of the crime scene towards the fraternity house.
We know the murders happened between, what was it, like 4 and 4:16 or something like that? So, this right here now, you know, the kids that were running in the background or walking down the street, they were just some other college kids. And if you're going to go out and murder people, are you going to take a group of 10 people with you to go murder somebody? And if you did take a group of 10 people with you, don't you think one of them people going to tell as soon as they get mad at you? Just because you fraternity brothers, you ain't going to turn on each other ever? Real brothers turn on each other faster than anything. You know, if you know anything, when people are really close, that's when they fight the most. Okay? So to think somebody wouldn't talk or tell, I just don't see that. The more involvement there is in a crime, more people, the more chances are you're going to be caught.
Boom. And
Boom.
you have to remember, Kaylee and Maddie stopped calling Jack DeCour at about 2:56 a.m. after frantically calling him about 8 times. They were really trying to get a hold of Jack D for 25 minutes, calling and texting. As far as we know, he never answered those calls and never texted them back, not even the next morning.
What?
Yeah. Why didn't he respond to them the next morning?
Maybe he was asleep because he'd been out partying. It's a weekend, college kid. He might have been out had a squeeze on the side, and he was getting his love on. Who knows why he didn't? Maybe he didn't want to talk to him.
He's a frat bro, but I think he was in a different frat. Anyways, I think sometime between midnight and 2 a.m. is when Xana and Ethan were attacked. Kaylee and Maddie got home at around 2 a.m. and they most likely walked in upon some things that they weren't supposed to see, and they were frantically calling Jack DeCour. Either a fight was already taking place or they stumbled upon the deceased bodies, so they were calling Jack D.
Now listen to that, 'cause that is crazy. They came in, the people were already dead. They called Jack D. Oh shit, Jack D, what are we gonna do? These people are dead. Okay, but what about what Bethany and Dylan said? You know, that they heard them pleading for their lives, and they seen the man come out. You know, he don't take what the witness said. Now, if she was the killer, that could be a lie. A man, you know, dressed because she did it herself. I believe, you know, just a theory that they got the right person. It's just trying to explain why there's no DNA evidence, and the only thing I can think of for DNA evidence is he wore some type of tie-back suit. She said the man was dressed all in black. I'm thinking at some point he had some type of zip-up, pull-over suit with a hood, and whatever was on that, when he stepped out, he took that off, rolled that up, put it in a bag, left. That's why there's no DNA anywhere else, and then, of course, disposed of that bag. Now, if he would have had clothes on that would have sucked the blood up or something like that, I just don't know. It seems like it would have been in his car. Okay, when he would have sat in his car, it would have transferred. But they didn't find none of that in his car or his apartment or in the house at the Poconos. So he was either wearing something like that, or there would be some type of evidence, DNA, blood, that would have been transferred if he would have been wearing just regular cotton clothing or like jeans or something like that, because that's going to suck it up like a sponge, and then when you sit somewhere, if it ain't completely dry, it's going to spread. Even if it's dry, it could spread. So, and like they would have found that. They're so good at finding blood, you know, like little tiny pieces and drops, that they didn't find nothing in that car. They didn't find nothing in the house. So nothing in his possession. The only thing that really is bad is, you know, of course, the stuff like him being in the neighborhood. But, you know, you could be in a neighborhood. There's no reason whatsoever for that DNA to be in the house. Now, I ain't his defense team, but, you know, seeing that that's a college house and there's a bunch of parties there and a lot of people in and out that house, I think I would have told the police, yes, I've been in that house. You know, I think you just got a better fighting chance. Even if I hadn't been at this point, I'd have been like, yeah, I've been in there. Because that could explain why his DNA in his knife sheath is there. Okay? That could explain it. It's better than I've never been in the house, because that's what his lawyers have already went with. That he's never been in the house at 1122 King Road. He's never been in there. Okay? So if he's never been in there, there's no way humanly possible his DNA could be in there. But it is. So you know what that means. In any court of law, your ass going to prison. Your DNA is there, and you said you won't. There's no reason that it should be there unless you are the killer. And not only is your blood, your DNA found, it's found where the bodies are found. And not only that, but underneath the body. You're done. You're done. I don't think any court around here with that type of DNA evidence is going to let you go. So, I mean, to still be accusing other people, I mean, maybe somebody's involved, but I doubt it.
He was their go-to. Who else to call? Jack D was their neighbor. Maybe Jack D could have helped. And then the phone call stopped at about 2:56 a.m. And that's most likely when they became deceased. Yeah. R.I.P. I mean, just think about it logically. Whoever went into that house had to have been very familiar with the occupants and the layout of the house. Somebody that had been there many times, and that was a party house, and the frat boys certainly were known to party in that house with those girls. Ethan was Sigma Chi, and he was in the house. Certainly his brothers would have been familiar with the house as well. Bryan Kohberger, the introvert, would not just drive by a house that has 6 vehicles parked in the driveway and randomly walk in and slice 4 people up. That's not logical, and that's not even believable. We saw...
That is believable. It's absolutely believable. Dude, he's into weird shit. He's a criminology student into crime, right? It's his DNA, his knife sheath is in a house he's never been into. That's logical, okay? Does it not sound logical to anybody else? You got your DNA's in this house, okay? That's just like, look, I've never been to Heather whatever's house in the chat. Alright, Heather whatever comes up dead, and my DNA is on the knife sheath next to her body. Most likely I killed her. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, how did my shit get there if I've never been there? It's impossible, right? You had to be there. He had to have been there, right? It's impossible. He had to have been there. Or somebody took his knife sheath with a K-bar, somebody else with a K-bar, and then stabbed him to death with a K-bar and left the sheath there. Okay? It's some Odinism people did it. Okay? It's all Odinism. That's insane. The dude is just a psycho. And if you look back at it, like the stuff he was doing in the questionnaires, asking people about committing violent crimes, and it seems like he was looking for tips, because I believe he thought he was going to be confronted. And I believe, even though people say he could fight, I believe he was a puss. Alright? And he was scared to be confronted. A lot of people are brave when they're doing the hurting. They're not as brave when they're getting hurt. I think his fear was, what if this dude takes this knife? What if I drop the knife and, somebody hurts me? Or if people are going to do what I say? Right? He didn't know. And maybe the studying was because he didn't kill anybody before. Because, me, I thought you just don't do this first. But maybe he was studying up on it. And, he had his doubts in his mind. And even in this, he was confronted. Okay? And maybe Dylan's alive right now because of the fight that went down with Ethan. Maybe that took a little bit of wind out of him, and he thought, hey, maybe somebody's called the police. Let me get the fuck out of here. Okay? Because of the noise that Ethan and him were making while they were fighting. And he got out the house instead of killing everybody else in the house, taking his time. I mean, it's hard to say. You just don't know. But it wasn't a group of people. We had eyewitness. There was one person. There's one vehicle. Okay? It's the same car that damn Bryan Kohberger drives, that happens to be the same person that has his knife sheath there with his DNA on it. Can everything be a coincidence? Boom! There, drip drop. I mean, it works two ways,
Saw about 6 individuals on this footage right here running from the crime scene towards the frat house.
But we know now that the crime didn't take place at that time because of the DoorDash. Okay, but you think the killer did it. Now, is the killer these frat boys that are running away? Or was Kohberger the one that called the delivery? Or was it the frat boys that called delivery? Or was it, damn, the weird neighbors couldn't have done it? The weird neighbor, right? Because the two weird people in all of it, they can't be responsible for anything. But the people that ain't weird, they did it. Okay? They absolutely did it. Make that logic make sense.
What more do you need? That's a smoking gun. That's a boom. Common sense. We can't be so naive any longer, ladies and gentlemen. The timeline that they've constructed in the PCA is not adding up with the videos we've seen and the other information that we've acquired and analyzed as well. Was Bryan Kohberger out and about driving around? Yeah. And this crime had already happened, and they were already deceased.
Convict him before trial. Shut up, 3 Dave. Nobody asked you. I'm not. I'm just saying the evidence points towards him, and it don't point towards nobody else. Okay? To be out there blaming other people when all the evidence points towards one person? Don't seem a little crazy to you?
The easy fall guy, if you ask me. But nobody's asking me, so moving right along. Remember this clip? This is where it's revealed that Maddie told Adam everything, and Kaylee seemed a bit frantic, in my opinion. Adam was a fraternity bro. I wonder what he was told. And Jack Showalter was there with them attempting to guide them home. And he said something along the lines of, they're going to get you girls for this. Another coincidence? I think not. Some big reveal.
Okay. I think that's a little bit of a stretch to hold. They're going to get you girls. I told them everything. That could have been, just in general. Like, maybe one girl had a crush on another dude. What'd you tell them? Oh, I told them you liked them. I told them everything, or something of that nature. I mean, you could put context if your context spin on anything way you want to make that, Was it a threat that girls are going to get you? Like, is that like they're going to kill you? That ain't the same. It ain't like he said, oh man, you fucked up. Them people going to hunt you down and kill you. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. It wasn't even said in a threatening manner. Like, they didn't even miss a beat. Like, like no big concern about what he said. So I don't think that was a real threat in the magnitude that somebody was out to hurt these girls.
Told to the bartender at Corner Club, and then an hour later they're all passed away? Now, let's talk about the crime scene cleanup. Have you ever heard of police officers cleaning up a crime scene? No, you haven't, because that's not their job duty, and that's not what they do. I've researched a lot of cases. I can't find any other cases where police officers clean.
They're not cleaning up. See, that's where I think he's missing the fact. They're taking things out of there as evidence that they may do testing on, things they may swab at the lab, things that could contain blood splatter, things of that nature. I doubt they're taking anything out the house like, ooh, here's a nice microwave, let me grab this. Ooh, wait, they didn't do the dishes, let me wash the dishes. Because we know that blood was still all over that house for days and days. So they didn't clean up the house. They took things out as evidence that they're going to use as in testing or swabbing. They don't do everything right there at the house. So I think the stuff that they were loading on that U-Haul they were taking to, look for DNA, his DNA, their DNA, things of that nature. Is why I believe they loaded that U-Haul with shit. They wasn't just like, oh, let me clean up the house. We're going to tear it down next week. And it wasn't the police. It was the owner handed over the deed back. He donated it to the college. And I guess the college decided since something so terrible happened there that they didn't want the house there. I don't blame the college. It ain't like they were trying to really cover up a crime scene. It's just like, okay, the owner was like, oh, hell with this. I don't want the house now. So let's gift it to the college. And then the college was like, okay, 4 college students got murdered there. Well, let's don't do nothing with that. Let's get rid of it. And, so I don't think it's one of these things. Next, it'll be Odinism wants to tear down the house, It wasn't that. It's just the college don't want the house because a fucking mass murder took place there. Kind of an eyesore, with it, how they got it fenced off and crime scene taped off and people coming up there and visiting it and weird shit. You know what I'm saying?
The scene. If you know of any, please do share. It's my understanding that their job duties consist of writing seatbelt tickets, arresting people, and harassing underage drinkers in a field outside of the frat house. They're not supposed to rent U-Hauls and go to the crime scene after a quad passing where nobody's been arrested and start loading up items and then try to get the house demolished.
That ain't quite what they done. But I'm going to leave it right there. I ain't going to play Drip Drop's whole video. If you want to watch Drip Drop's video, it is on his channel. Okay? So that way I don't play his whole damn video. So if you want to see the rest of that video, go check out Drip Drop. It's a lot of speculation and wild conspiracy rabbit hole stuff. I don't want to get you tripped up and make you fall into a damn rabbit hole, because I believe that's what a lot of this is. And then when you get into this type of weird conspiracy shit, this is where all this misinformation and muddy in the water type shit comes from, because some people believe that and then they run with what he's saying. And like, even my turtles don't believe everything I say. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions. But some don't. Some people do believe and take everything I say so seriously, or believe every single thing, and that ain't the way to go. All right, because like I said, he's saying information that is totally. Just think about it. If you're one of these people still, like I said, it puts these young people, in danger. And these people right now, they're starting their lives, so they're building their futures. How would you like to go go apply for a job one day and you be Jack S or Jack D, and the dude goes, "Hey, you that dude they used to talk about on the internet?" And then there's this in the back of their mind, you have something to do with a murder, even though you ain't. It don't have nothing to do with you, right? You're like attached to it, and that's what it does. Like, you're continuing to put that attachment on these young people that are trying to start their lives and didn't have nothing to do with it. Now, there's some things that you could say, like, why did they go into the house and contaminate the crime scene? That makes more sense to me. Why, but he don't go that avenue. He don't go that avenue. And that's the biggest thing for me, is the crime scene's contaminated. That's what I would argue with the DNA, that people came in this house before the police got there, that with the police on saying that the phone call came from the roommate's phone but was placed by somebody else. Okay, one roommate's unconscious, but she wasn't unconscious when the murders were going on, but now she's so shocked that she collapsed. There's a lot of things in that you could go with and like turn it into a little bit of a conspiracy, I guess, but that really don't mean Bryan Kohberger didn't do it. It just means that something else was going on in that house and these people were murdered. A lot of people speculate that it was one of them was selling drugs, and there may have been some drugs in the house, or she was under the influence of some drugs and scared. Maybe that might be the case. I mean, I don't know. I really don't. But I do believe, and my thought is Kohberger acted alone, that they have enough that if I was on the jury, they got his DNA, they got him in the house, they got him pinged to the phone, they got him out that night driving around. I think that's enough to me go, okay, put him away for the rest of his life. Is it enough for me to execute you, to put you to death? I don't know. Possibly, I think they would, but we haven't seen all the evidence yet. Okay, we just know what they've used, they put out with search warrants, things of that nature. So we haven't seen every single thing against them. We've seen most of the big shit, I can guarantee that. The big stuff they've used to get these warrants and things of that nature. So we know the big stuff. But there's going to be other little things that tie him there that will come out, I'm sure, when this trial begins. And them are the things we don't know right this present second. What we do know already is his DNA is there, and it shouldn't be. And that never looks good. Okay? Just to be honest, he's guilty as shit. There ain't no explaining that one away, to me. All right, and we live in 2023. DNA technology is pretty good these days. It's accurate as shit. They know when it ain't your kid. They know who you are. They know your bloodline. The whole shit. So they tracked him down pretty fast through this DNA stuff, technology, and these days you can't get away with killing people. You just can't. It does seem odd. There are some crazy coincidences in all of this. But in this world, there's just crazy coincidences, like the Pennsylvania U-Haul. That's just coincidence. The dude, like they didn't eat the takeout. Oh, Lord. Here we go. Let's do it. Phone lines are open, guys. Dolly.
Hi, Jimmy. It's PCT.
What's up, PCT?
I need to be a thorn in your side for a minute. I really do. Because that guy in the brown jacket was the lookout guy, Jimmy. He was. They were murdered. Like what? an hour and a half or 2 hours, or was it 2.5 hours later?
The guy you think the kids did it too, Tina?
No, heck no. No, but that lookout guy, I think he was in cahoots with Kohberger.
What lookout guy?
The one with the white shirt and the brown jacket.
They don't even know each other.
Well, they were talking down the street, weren't they? You just showed the.
That wasn't Bryan Kohberger with him.
No. The guy with the brown jacket and the white shirt.
I know what you're saying. The one that said they're going to get you girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that still, he don't know Bryan Kohberger.
How do you know?
I don't know. But I don't think there's no connection between the two.
You don't? I do. I think Kohberger's been over to that house. His sister lived nearby, remember? Didn't she? Or am I wrong on that?
I thought his sister lived in the Poconos.
No. She lived nearby that house, didn't she?
I don't think so.
I don't know. My short term sucks. But
yeah, I don't think so, not at all. He should have had no reason to be over there.
Well, I told you I was going to be a thorn, but think about it. The timing is just too much, and he was right behind him, and he was so freaked out when they left. He hightailed it out of there and went to the cabin, at his parents' cabin. It's just, I don't know. It's too sus.
Yeah, it ain't that sus to me. You know?
All right, well, that's my 3 cents worth.
All right, Tina.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right, peace. I mean, is it possible somebody can know Bryan Kohberger? I mean, yeah, anything's possible. But there's no record of them knowing him. There's no pictures of none of these kids with Bryan Kohberger. You know? So there's an age discrepancy in the age gap in between Bryan Kohberger and these kids. So I don't think Bryan Kohberger knew them. I think Bryan Kohberger knew of them. And that's probably through social media. And he's seen one of these girls, and some of these girls are really pretty girls. And he started stalking like a weirdo. Dolly.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's up, Sunshine?
Good, man. I gotta shoot something by you, bro.
All right, let's do it.
So, right now, I'm not here to debate anybody. Hold on. Damn it. Give me a second. My medicine time. I gotta take my heart medicine. Look, so real quick. I'm not here to debate anybody, but I just want you guys to do the research for yourself and check this out. They are making a 3D model of the house right now, as we speak. They're making a 3D model of the house. Why? Because they believe that they could not have heard. There's no way that somebody did not hear him in the house. Oh, yeah, by the way, not just a 3D model. They're making a 3D sound as well as a model to see if it's possible that somebody could have been in the house to help him, or that they could have heard something and did not do anything. That's a fact. Right now they're doing it. Look it up.
The thing is that there's an eyewitness to the crime that said she's seen a man
understand,
come Alexander.
You know what? Do you trust it? Do you trust the eyewitness? How long did it take the eyewitness to come forward? How long did it
8 hours.
I mean, huh?
8 hours.
Yeah, but you know what? Come on, no, I don't think that. I'd have to look back, but look.
It did, because she went back in her room. She seen the dude leave, dressed in black, go out the back door.
Oh yeah. Yep, sure. Yep, you're right.
She went in the back room, and 8 hours later they called the police. It was
right.
6 to 8 hours. 8 hours, I think.
Yeah, but they look at the time that they wasted. Look at the time that. Look, so they went back to sleep, but nobody heard anything, even though people were getting murdered and slaughtered, right?
They did hear something. She heard the girl begging for her life, help. She was begging for help.
8 hours later.
Yeah, I can't explain why she didn't call the police.
I don't understand it either. But they're trying to see right now why somebody did not hear them.
They did hear them. Not only did they hear them, but they seen them.
I understand that, but I'm talking about they're wanting to know why other people didn't hear them. How far of a distance would the noise have traveled? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but not only you got to hear the noise, but you got to, as a neighbor, like if I heard my neighbors right now, it would have to be something like, oh my God, that sounds so crazy.
Extravagant.
Yeah.
Before you would even think that it would be more than them arguing or something.
Yeah, like if I just heard a bang, I would think, man, that's just a door slamming or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. But I'm talking about inside the house is what they're working on. They're working on the situation inside the house. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean,
thought they were using a line of level, like laser leveling and level line of sight, and I thought they were going to level the whole property out, but that ain't what it is. It's the devices to actually 3D model the whole place with sound. So they're going to go inside the house and use sound and test the waves of the sound from room to room to room.
I don't know what that would. I mean, for studying purposes, maybe
really cool.
Maybe that's great. But far as what transpired, the neighbors didn't hear it. The roommate did. So I mean, what is the fuck is there to study?
If you woke up with some stranger in your house, you can go back to sleep.
That's what I'm saying. That don't make sense.
You had to have been jacked up, and that leads to another.
But we all know, we do know they were all out partying that night.
Exactly.
So
what do you think about them being robbed? They're trying to rob, dude.
I don't think. I mean, why would you murder four
the
people
drug dealer
in a
that's
robbery?
Dropping off the drugs.
Yeah, and 4 people owed you money.
That's out there.
All 4 of them.
Well, I mean, look, it depends on what they were doing or how they came at him. I mean, a lot of stuff's happened, bro, over the years. You can look at cases.
That's a little bit of a stretch, though. How do you explain the DNA?
A little bit of a stretch is,
how do you
the rest of this crap that people are.
How do you explain his DNA on that knife sheath that he bought? They know he bought because he ordered it off Amazon. How do you explain that a knife sheath that he ordered off of Amazon being at the scene of a murder?
Well, I understand it. I get it. I get it. I don't know. I'm not saying that he wasn't there, but do you believe he did this by himself? 4 people? I think that's the point they're trying to make. I think that's the point.
I'm not a psycho killer, but I believe me or you, as a grown-ass man, can walk in a house and kill 3 women and 1 man. I think we can manage that. You know what I'm saying? The only person that, I hate to say this, I hate to sound like women ain't shit, because I know there's women out there that can whip a lot of ass in this world. But them girls didn't look like those. They look girly girl. Okay, they didn't look manly. They didn't look butch. They didn't look none of. They looked like they grew up like little princesses. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they put up a super tough fight.
That's my little puppy's name she was looking at.
I'm just saying, I don't think these women put up a super great fight against a 6'2" man, 185 pounds. The only person that probably stood a half a fighting chance was Ethan.
But you got to think about this too, man. I mean, that's a lot of people to kill, but not in a rampage. If you're mad, you probably could do that in like no time.
He could have killed everybody in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He could have stuck around. Nobody even called the police. He could have sat on the couch and killed everybody and ate a snack.
Yeah. Yeah, but he wasn't thinking in that kind of like. I'm just not sure that he did it by himself. I'm just not sure. And the dad thing, that's strange all the way around.
It did. I just think the dad suspected it.
Go ahead.
I just think the dad suspected it. I mean, I don't know if he was 100% confident that it was 100% positive, but I do think he suspected his son of being the Idaho 4 murderer.
But his dad was on his way like right away though, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it took a little while from the time that the actually killing happened until his dad flew into town.
Until it hit the news.
Yeah, until it hit the news. So there was a little bit of time in between that.
But
it wasn't just like killing, boom, boom. It was like killing, wait a little bit, and then boom, information came out.
But was it on the news before the dad got there?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
major mainstream, every state in the country.
I thought about that earlier, just didn't know the answer to it.
Yeah. He was definitely on the news, mainstream, everywhere. The car and the murders everywhere before he arrived there.
Thing. I think you brought up the point, or somebody brought up the point. They used the stock They used the stock photo instead of the actual video of the car. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't make no sense, does it?
I don't know why they did that. That's part of their investigation. They lied in the beginning too. I don't know why they did that, but that still don't take away, his DNA being there.
No, I get it.
The pings.
Is it right? I don't know. Are you right? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm 100% right. I believe if I was on the jury, I would convict him. Did he have anybody with him? I doubt he had anybody with him because they would tell.
You know what, though? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. This is one that we might not agree on. We might agree to disagree, but could he have been involved? Yeah. Could he have had somebody? If he'd done it, I think it's a great possibility somebody was with him. And that's my opinion.
I mean, ain't too many people going to voluntarily go with you to commit a quadruple murder.
But if you're going for a drug deal, back in the day, man, I'm going to tell you, if I went, I'm telling you, bro, you know damn well what I'm saying. Your buddies are going to be with you. They're going to road dog with you. Let's ride, bro.
Yeah, but let's just say a bunch of drug dealers would have walked up in that house and killed them people. Don't you think it would have been a sloppy crime scene?
Not really.
Four people. No tracks, no fingerprints, no DNA.
Now you went four. I'm talking about two guys.
Oh, okay, two. Even two.
Two guys could have done it really easy. Look, if one of them got out of pocket, you waxed one, and somebody else ran out, I'm guaranteeing you, their ass is going down too, and it's going to happen fast. 4 times. Pop, 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 pop. There it is. Get it? It's going to happen quick. And we've done this for so long, and we've seen so much shit. And I live in the most dangerous city in the United States of America on any one given day. And I'm going to tell you, in this city, look, I'll tell you something real fast. This lady pissed off her old man. Bad. Took him to court, said, you never see your kids again. This happened 8 blocks from my house. And this was 3 years ago. You can look it up. He screwed the door shut, set the son of a bitch on fire.
Oh, Lord.
Wife and kids. Bam. You want to do this to me? That's the kind of city I live in.
Yeah, I mean, that's terrible.
That's one of the million cases. Our crime rate is just crazy here. And if people paid attention, I'm going to tell you, if they just studied my city, you would never have to go anywhere else to get every story you ever wanted to make your channel. It's huge. Just saying. It's huge here. A lot of this stuff has already happened here. Look, I'll tell you another one real quick. Look this one up. Rosemary Collins is a judge here. She's a man-hater. The Ford brothers, which I know them, grew up with them, they sentenced them to life. She sentenced them to life in prison. And they stood up in the middle of court and said, hey, you'll regret that by nightfall. They already had her daughter. She's strung out on drugs, whatever. They killed her, threw her on a porch, rang her doorbell, and walked away nice and calmly.
Damn.
They walked away.
Damn.
They walked away like, I told you. They didn't run, nothing. They laid her down, killed her daughter, laid her on the porch. Look it up. Rockford, Illinois, Rosemary Collins. Killed her daughter, laid her on her porch, and they walked away. And she lost her freaking mind.
I would lose my mind too.
I would too. But you know what? We all know these people, these guys that we grew up with. You know, we knew them. Like we talked when we seen each other and somewhat hung out. They were just some of them guys you just didn't mess with. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying, cases like this happen every single day. And we've seen our fair share of them here in my city. So, could this happen? Look, there's cases that will never be solved that happen right here in my city that I know the people that were involved in it, and they're dead now.
It happens.
It does happen, bro.
Jimmy Hoffa's still missing.
So do you honestly think he was by himself and he did this really bad?
Yeah, he been sick since he was a teenager. He's had these fantasies probably since he was 16.
I'm not sure that's the way it went. Myself personally, but you could be right. I could be totally wrong.
Way back to the white noise when he started experiencing the white fuzz or, the spots.
Yeah.
I believe he had problems then. He was reaching out trying to get help. He was just doing it through the internet. And the internet ain't going to help nobody. The internet's only good for destroying people. It ain't good for building you up spiritually and mentally.
It ain't if you're on the DOLLY channel and if you hit the like button for the
I'm saying the majority of the internet. I'm saying the majority of the internet's not here to build you up. It's here to tear you down.
We got 472 in here right now. We got 267. Hit that thumbs up.
Hit that
Give our
damn.
boy
What
one.
the hell y'all people doing? Who else is up at
favor.
2:30 in the morning hanging out with you?
That's right. But
Right.
I can tell you, bro. I hope. Well, honestly, I hope you're wrong, because if you're right, I'm wrong. But man, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
I hope this comes out, man. I hope it all comes out.
You've
Thank
been
you,
right.
guys. I
You've
think
been
you do
right
good
about a
job.
lot of stuff, Stoney. But I think you're wrong
I'm
about
not
this one.
saying, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, look, I'm like an archaeologist. I just keep digging and digging and digging. You get what I'm saying?
Can't cover
Something's
every
gotta
base.
come up.
You can't cover every base.
You can't, but you know what? Somebody asked me the other day, what do you know? I said, a little bit about a lot of shit. And that's true. I know a little bit about a lot of shit. I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about a lot of shit. But
Yeah.
look, this
All right,
is gonna be
Stoney.
a case that we're gonna have to really keep an eye on. It's gonna get crazy.
Oh,
All
I
right.
know. It ain't
Yeah,
nowhere
all right.
near over. All right,
No,
peace.
hell no. All right, brother.
Angelica, what is it? Is that what it says? It says, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, I never judge a book by its cover. Like today, I watched Drip Drop, and now you gotta tell me that cover's a little wild, okay? And I first watched them, I really enjoyed it. The updates were good. Like, then it kind of goes to speculation, you know? And then he kind of like, it ain't judging the book by the cover if you flip through the pages and it's the same thing as the cover, just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Then the cover in the book is the same. Wild conspiracies are not good. I mean, he has the right to, his opinion about what he thinks happens in the case, just like everybody does. But some of the speculation is out there and crazy, and I stayed away from that a lot in this case in the very beginning, because every damn YouTuber on the planet, not just Drip Drop, but everybody, I think I was the only solo person out here that wasn't blaming the kids. Okay, I was like, no, serial killer. Day one, I was like, this is the work of a serial killer. It ain't a college kid, it ain't that, it ain't these people, it ain't their friends didn't kill them. I knew that didn't happen. But I think every YouTuber blamed, like I said, every kid that got blamed, it was every kid around that area. The neighbors, the fucking, anybody they could blame got blamed. If you ate at the restaurant, you got blamed. So, Drip Drop used to be thought-provoking. Lately, he's just been weird. I mean, it's Halloween time. Maybe he just stretched it, made it a little bit crazier. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, to me, it's kicking a dead horse, to be honest. Like, the blaming the kids, that shit was like old. Like, oh, you don't even see people doing it anymore. I mean, I could see if he was trying to tie Kohberger to some group or this to that. But at this point, to still be blaming them same kids now we know that didn't do it, to me, is just crazy. And the good thing is he's not singling out one kid. He's just blaming kids and college kids in general. Drip Drop didn't like single nobody out, so he's not putting like one single person in like jeopardy of what he's saying, because he's just saying, hey, these college kids basically are involved. But he don't go like, it's Jack D or it's Jack S. He's not really like dropping, he's just generally saying that these people may be involved, and Kohberger's involved. He's just blaming everybody. Is kind of what it is to me. It's that rabbit hole. It's that conspiracy stuff that in true crime, you got a basic, you can have your theories, but you really got to stick to the facts, okay? And then you base your theories off of the facts. You just don't come out here with crazy theories that have nothing to do with the facts, right? If you go off a conspiracy, right? Here's the thing. Like, you could go, okay, well, somebody planted Bryan Kohberger's, you could go with that, his DNA there. You would, you could go with maybe something of that nature. But once you start taking out pieces of fact to make it fit your conspiracy, that will never work for me. Okay? Because then your theory don't stick to what's happened. Okay? You can't create something else. You can't make a fucking story up in your head that fits your narrative. You know, if you're going to throw a theory off a story, stick to what we know is fact. This girl woke up in the middle of the night. She's seen one person in the house. You know, you're talking about these group of people that killed him. Then you're talking about Bryan Kohberger that killed him. Then you're talking about one of the frat bros that liked the girl that killed him. You see what I'm saying? You can't cover first, second, third base, home, boom. You don't lose. And then in the end of it, you be like, yeah, see, I told you. Yeah, you the best psychic around. You can never be wrong. You can never be wrong if you're playing first base, second base, third base, left field, right field, center field. You in the stands. How do you lose that one? You're all over the board. And if it was Planet, why BK's? Yeah, and how did you get BK's DNA? You know, it's these weird, you know, but to blame the kids, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think that's good. Let these kids move on with their life. Rest in peace to the Idaho 4. Prayers for the kids and their friends that had to deal with losing them, that are now still being blamed. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly. This is Barbara in Arizona.
Hey, Barbara.
But have you ever heard the, why can't I ever remember? What are you guys called?
What do we call it? YouTubians?
No, the ones who, you know, go up on the, you know, you. What are you called?
What am I called? Beautiful.
Well,
sexy.
We all know that.
Gorgeous. Handsome. Unstoppable. The best in the world. Right. Okay.
When you get up on the on your live and you talk, what are you?
Podcaster, YouTuber, Creator. Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube creator.
Have you ever heard the creator who says that it was the cartel hired Kohberger to be a hitman because some of the parents owed a lot of drug money?
Yeah, I mean, does Bryan Kohberger look like a hitman to you?
No.
Does he scream
I don't
like...
believe it. I don't believe it. I'm just saying that I heard this creator say this. And it was like the craziest thing I ever heard.
I mean, it sounds like a good movie.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just like the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, at this point, they blame everything on the Mexican cartel. The cartel did it.
Yeah, the cartel sent Bryan Kohberger to Moscow, Idaho, to kill these 4 kids because their parents reneged on a drug deal.
Yeah, people will say anything for clicking a view.
I mean, it's
I didn't know it was
not
that easy that you can just say anything. I mean, you can just say anything. I mean, you can just make a theory that has nothing to even do with the case. I think Godzilla did it and just run with it.
Yeah, I mean, this totally has nothing to do with the case.
When they got the person in jail convicted, I'm telling you, Godzilla did it. Tokyo, you know what I'm saying? Godzilla. That's the world we live in.
So the one mother has a drug problem. However, I don't think she had anything to do with the cartel or these kids being sacrifices.
Okay.
For cartel problems, but I just thought you'd find that interesting.
I'm going to let everybody know I'm going to come up with the stupidest titles for my video I ever can humanly come up with and see how it works on YouTube. Okay, so don't take none of my titles coming up seriously. I'm just going to come up with the craziest titles I can and see if people watch it.
Somebody will probably agree with you.
I know. I'm going to see growth. That's what's going to happen. That's how the internet works.
Okay.
All right. You be good.
You too.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Yeah, like I said, by the end of this, Godzilla killed everybody. You know what I'm saying? Destroyed the town. That's what I'm going with. Okay? If we're blaming people, I'm blaming Godzilla! Okay? Traumatized as a child. I actually thought there was a lizard that big. Alright? But anyway, never hurts to put, throw a theory out there. Everybody's entitled to that. That ain't what it's about. It's just like when you ignore the facts and then your theory don't go with the facts. Now you can say, well, Dolly, that's the prosecution's facts. That shit, they could be just, but I don't think they're out to put an innocent man away for a crime he didn't commit. Right? They didn't plant his DNA. There ain't no Mark Furman involved. This ain't some conspiracy cover-up. This is a sick dude that had been sick since he was a young man. We've seen signs of that in his early writings, that he had some issues. He's had some mental issues since he was young, and it carried on into his later life, and later on, I believe myself, and this is just my, my theory, which don't mean shit, but it's still based on logic, that he had these thoughts for a long time, since he was young, and it took him a long time to act on them. I mean, it just falls in logic. That ain't some crazy theory that, when he was 16, an alien came to him and said, look, you're going to have to kill these people before Harvest Moon of 2023. Okay? You can come up with any kind of crazy shit, but it's just the fact is this man was sick in his head. And even before this happened, I was telling people that our society is breeding serial killers. Breeding them. You think Bryan Kohberger's fucked up? Oh no, there's way worse souls than him out there. Like, scary as he is, he ain't the scariest boogeyman out there. Not even close. There's monsters out there way worse than him. Not to scare you. Not to scare you in this world, but let me tell you, there's a lot sicker people in this world, probably somebody than Bryan Kohberger. Our society is, if you look at the 70s and the early 80s and how society has changed since then, and if the things made you a killer then, the perversions in the world, think about what it is doing to the minds of young people today. That's why I always think that there's way more serial killers now than there's ever been. But statistically, I don't think that's true. Okay? I just think that. I think there's actively, any time in our country, somewhere between 50 serial killers or something like that. 30 to 50. I don't know. The number varies from the FBI. But I think there might be more killers out there than that. That's just serial killers. We got spree killers, mass shooters, and all those things. There's just there's so many different types of killers out there to put it into a group. But far as serial killers, people that kill with no motive, with a cool down time. That's a lot of people that cool off, not mad no more, and then go out and kill somebody else. And some people would say that these killers are the apex predators. And that's how a lot of them people look at themselves. Because, at any point, they have the power to take your life. And that's... See, as a normal person, you don't have that. Because you got compassion and all these things. You can't just take somebody's life. There's too much that comes with it. But for these people, it ain't none of that. It ain't none... And you can see it. Like I said, I know people think I'm crazy when I say you can see the evil in Bryan Kohberger. You can see it. That's why I'm pretty confident he did it. That's why I said if I was a jury member, I would convict him. I know it's not right to convict somebody by their looks. Dude, you look like your daddy's Ted fucking Bundy. Okay? The same evil that was in his eyes is the same evil that is in Bryan Kohberger's eyes. And I can see it. I don't know if anybody else can see it. I see it clear as day. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. But if I see somebody with some eyes like that, I ain't messing with you. And I don't usually run across people like that. You don't see that type of evil eyes on everybody. Okay? Like, I've been out all over the place. I ain't looked at nobody and they look like Ted Bundy in the eyes. But, real quick, there's monsters. Be careful. You know, here's one thing too. I want to explain this to my viewers, and especially because most of my viewers are women. You know, it's the holiday season. All right, November's among us. It's Christmas time. All right, as soon as Halloween's over, everybody flips right into Christmas mode. Thanksgiving. You know how it goes. A lot of people do a lot of shopping. This is the time when a lot of these monsters are the most active. And I ain't talking about just serial killers. I'm talking about robbers and people that'll hurt you. If you're out, be careful this time of the year. It's a dangerous time of the year, believe it or not. More robberies, more killings, more everything. Even suicides this time of the year. And that's important too. If you see somebody going through some stuff this year, it's the holidays. Don't kick them down. Don't beat on them, you know. Pick somebody up in this world. Help somebody out, you know. Because look, holiday season is rough. Hello, you snoring. On a lot of people. And people, you don't never know what people are going through, or when people are on their last leg, or nothing like that. So be good to people this holiday season. That's all I'm trying to say. That's the good message of tonight. You guys be good. I love you. And I will see y'all guys later on today.